having relationships with mortal women and giving birth to, who subsequently give birth to demigods and superhuman saviors. So I'm already reading this stuff. And of course, at the same time, I was born into a Protestant Christian family. My mother's side of the family goes back to 1630 arriving in this country. And these were Puritans who coming from England. So this is a long lineage of Christian heritage in my family. And 1630 is traceable actually back to the 13th century with Eleanor of Aquitaine and King Henry II. So in any event, this it's like I didn't fall off of a passing meteorite. I'm actually a very long Christian heritage familial line here. So I know this. We were taken to church on a regular basis. I was baptized. It was a very respectable church, Congregationalist church. My mother had been a Baptist after the whole Puritan episode of her ancestors. She goes into become a Baptist, and then she found that to be too harsh, so she became a Congregationalist Protestant, which was very mild. It's like Little House on the Prairie stuff, very mild. No hellfire, brimstone, nothing tortured me, nothing bad to, make me, this is not my investigation is not a reaction against abuse that I suffered. It's just pure fascination, innocence, curiosity, and something that my mind is geared towards that led me to these conclusions. And so all of these factors are pointing to the road where I would end up, which was, I did get really bored with church when I was a kid. Even Sunday school was unpleasant to me. But the playground was fun. I remember that part. But
recess.
We had a wonderful playground. But sitting in the pews, why did they call them that? I don't know. But sitting in the pews in church, listening to the minister, who was a perfectly lovely man. We loved their family. We used to hang around with them. They were friends with my parents. Very nice people. But seeing that it was just such a bore. Why do I care about this culture from well, they say 5,000 years ago, but obviously we know archaeologically that's not true. But I'm sitting there and I'm snoring. It's like out of that Monty Python movie, Meaning of Life, where so did he take his tent peg down to Gilead? And you're like, what? Who cares? Tell me about the stories about, Greek gods flying around and doing all these crazy things. I'm much more interested.
They much more, yeah. The other gods were much, they're always fighting with each other and, going around each other's back, and it's like cursing people because they looked at each other nasty. It's like, ha, ha, ha. Well, I mean, one of my favorite of all-time movies is Jason and the Argonauts, and I'm sure you've seen that movie 500 times. And I love how they, take the different humans and use them like chess pieces. It's like, we'll just get rid of this guy.
Oh, yeah, that's Clash of the Titans. Yeah, the Clash of the Titans has just been released again. That was a great movie with Harry Hamlin. Yeah, that kind of stuff. You actually go to that country and you start going around and seeing all these fantastic ruins with such great architectural designs, and it's just an amazing culture. And I got tuned into that at the same time as I was falling away from Christianity as a child. I was being exposed also to people like Dr. Louis Leakey, who's the great anthropologist, and talking about ancient. Here we were digging in the ground again, looking for skeletons. And and also just the Greek culture was I eventually ended up, when I was a young teenager, ended up in Greece, and so it was seeing all these sites. I just decided at that point what I was going to study. I said, this is what I want to study. I looked at the Temple of the Olympian Zeus in Athens, and I was just in the Parthenon, and I was like, this is so fascinating to me. Plus, also around that same time too, I was being taught about the American founding fathers and how great the American Constitution is, and these incredible people like Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin and so forth. That these individuals who are so widely esteemed had studied Greek civilization. They had studied what are called the classics. They had studied Roman civilization as well, but the Greek was focused on as being the originators of democracy and all kinds of enlightening ideas in the Western world. So it was all coming together like that. And I eventually ended up in college studying Greek civilization classics and getting a degree in that, and then going to Greece a number of times and spending time digging there as a member of the American School of Classical Studies at Athens. So, getting a good dose of this heritage, and also then that leads me to that allowed me to read and speak. I could actually speak modern Greek pretty well, but read ancient Greek, which of course we know is the language of the New Testament. Mm-hmm. So all of these factors. Also, being in Greece too, I was exposed to centuries of Greek Orthodox Christianity, which is really quite disturbing. For example, in the monasteries, their main focus they had paintings all over the walls, and it was all about torturing, martyrdom, being tortured to death, being cut into